Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my June TBR. So June is generally my favourite month of the year because it is my birthday in June. I have quite a big list of books to get through in June. Unfortunately, my TBR is going to be very library heavy because I have a lot of books due at the library this month. So I'm not sure that I'm going to get to everything else that I have on my TBR, but I'm hopeful that I can get through everything. So we will, as always, start off with the library books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of June. First up from the library, I have Armadale by Wilkie Collins. I have previously read two Wilkie Collins books, The Woman in White, which is one of my favourite classics ever, and The Moonstone, which I also really enjoyed. So I'm really hopeful that I'm going to like this. All I know about it is that it's about two cousins who have the same name. That's literally basically all I know. This is a dense read. It's one of those classics with the really, if I can get out of the sun, really small font, and it's like over 700 pages. So this one is going to take up some time this month for sure. Next, we have the second book in a duology, which is Vengeance by Megan Miranda. The first book, of which the name is escaping me, is about a girl who falls through the ice and is under the ice for about 11 minutes, and when she is brought out of the ice and they manage to revive her, she can now sense death. That book was enjoyable. It wasn't anything fantastic, but since it is a duology, I do want to read this second book and finish off the duology. Next from the library, I have Spark by Rachel Craw. This one I don't know too much about. It's one of the books that I need to read for one of my goals, which is to read, I think it's the one to read 10 of the first 20 books that I marked as to read on Goodreads. This, from what I can gather, is about a girl who thought she was an ordinary 17-year-old, but she then discovers that she is in fact a shield, which means that she is bound by DNA to defend her best friend from an unknown killer. The threat could come at home, at school, anywhere. All Evie knows is that it will be a fight to the death. I think this might be the first book in a series, but it sounds like it could maybe be pretty interesting. I've never heard anyone really talk about this, I don't think, but it sounds like it could be a good time. Next from the library, I have Becoming Darkness by Lindsay Francis Brambles. This one is an alternate history in which I believe Hitler won the war, but he won the war by unleashing a virus on the world that turned something like 2 million people, 200 million, whoa, that's a lot of people, 200 million people into vampires. And the main character of this book is a 17-year-old girl named Sophie who is an immune, which means she's a carrier of the genetic mutation that protects her from the virus. And then I think it's all about her discovering some kind of conspiracy in the government. This is one that I originally requested on NetGalley a really long time ago and was approved for, but I was unable. It's one of those strange ones where you can't put it onto your Kindle. It's only able to be read on my laptop, and I don't want to read it on my laptop. So I got this from the library so that I can eventually post a review for this, but it does sound like it might be pretty interesting. Next, I have Doubt Volume 2 by Yoshiki Tonagai. This is the second and last volume, like bind-up volume in this manga collection. This is about a game that these people play where some people are wolves. Well, there's one wolf and there's rabbits, and you are trying to basically figure out who the wolf is, and it's like a mobile game, but they end up meeting up and playing and then discovering that there is in fact a wolf in real life, killing them off. I really enjoyed the first volume. I'm concerned that I'm not going to remember enough about it because it's been a little bit since I read that first one, but I'm hoping that I still really enjoy this because I did really enjoy the first one. Next, I have Fathomless by Jackson Pierce. This is the third book in Jackson Pierce's fairy tale retelling series. This one is a Little Mermaid retelling, I think. I mean, it's got like a mermaid pendant. It looks like the ocean. So I'm pretty sure this one's a Little Mermaid retelling. I don't know too much about it apart from that, but hopefully it's good. And finally from the library, I have Plum Spooky by Janet Evanovich and Fingerlick 15 by Janet Evanovich. This is book 14.5 and book 15 in the Stephanie Plum series. I mean, this is just a chick lit series about a woman who is a bounty hunter, and it's pretty like comical, lighthearted chick lit. Yeah, and I have the next Although this is a 0.5 book, it is basically as long as the full-length book, but I do need to read both of these this month. So now moving on to the physical books that I'm hoping, like books from my physical TBR that I'm hoping to get to in the month of June. As you will have seen, there was a lot of library books, so I'm hoping to get to all of these, but we'll see. So first off, I have War Storm by Victoria Avia. This is in fact a spoiler for my May book haul. I want to get to this now as soon as possible because this is the last installment in the Red Queen series, and I have enjoyed the Red. I know it gets a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people don't like it. I do really enjoy this series, and I want to read this final installment in the series and see how everything finishes up. I am then hoping to read the Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis. So I actually only have Across the Universe and A Million Suns, which is books 1 and 2, but I'm hoping to get my hands on the third book during the month, but I'm not sure whether that's going to happen, so it might just be these two that I read, might be the whole trilogy, I'm not 100% sure. This is a sci-fi trilogy. I believe it's about a girl who, like, she's frozen in space, like cryogenically frozen or something like that, and because they're leaving Earth to go to another planet, but she's woken up earlier than what she's supposed to be woken up. I don't really know too much about it apart from that. This is a trilogy that used to get a bit of hype on BookTube, but not too many people talk about it anymore, but hopefully I really enjoy it. And then finally, from my physical TBR, I'm hoping to get through the first 3 books in the Poison Study series by Maria V. Schneider. So that is Poison Study, Magic Study, and Fire Study. So this is a series, it's one of those, it's kind of like the Shadowhunter Chronicles in that I believe there's this trilogy, then there's an entirely separate trilogy that you have to read, and then there's 3 more books in this series that you have to read, but you have to read the other 3 in the other series first. So I want to get through just these 3 first. This follows a girl who, she commits some kind of crime, she's in prison for murder or something, and then rather than being executed, she is offered the chance to be, I think, the king's poison taster, so that she could try learn about all kinds of poisons and then maybe like live a lot longer than obviously if she's executed. And so she ends up doing that, and I don't know too much about it apart from that. The people who do talk about this series seem to have generally pretty positive reviews, so I've been looking forward to this series for a long time, so I'm hoping that I really enjoy this. Now, moving on to the ebooks that I'm hoping to get through in the month of June. So I have 3 that I'm like mainly hoping to get through. The first one is The Night Girl by Amy Cross. I believe this is a story that was originally released in like 8 different parts, but I believe what I have is the whole story. I'm hoping that it is. I don't really know too much about this. This is one of my backlist Kindle books, but there is a line in the synopsis that I thought I would read to you guys because it sounds pretty interesting. It says, "The Night Girl is the story of a girl gone wrong, a girl who discovered she has a dark skill for murder." That sounds pretty interesting, so that'll be an interesting read, I think. The next ebook that I have is Rumors by A.C. Arthur. So this is interesting in that this is a backlist Kindle book, but it is also one that I have from NetGalley. So we've reached that stage on my Kindle where some of the oldest books that I have on my Kindle are in fact ones that I got from NetGalley a really long time ago and didn't get to. But that's a good thing, I think, because it means that I'm going to get through even more NetGalley books. So this one is a literary thriller, I believe. It's about a group of friends who were in college, and then I think right before graduation, one of the girls in the group was murdered, and one of the guys in the group was accused of it, but never like convicted or anything like that. There was just a lot of rumors and everyone like kind of saying that he did it. And then I think it's years and years later, and the guy who was accused of it has come back to the town where the college is and is trying to basically clear his name and find out what happened and who did murder this girl. That sounds pretty interesting. I love thrillers. I love whodunits. Who murdered the girl? I don't know, but I look forward to finding out. And the last ebook that I'm hoping to get through is The Lucky Ones by Tiffany Rees. This one is a NetGalley book, but it is also the monthly book for the Deadly Divas book club. And I did have it from NetGalley, so I'm really excited that I'm able to join in again this month. This is another thriller. This one is about a girl who was part of a group of, I think, 7 children who were all adopted by this very like wealthy man, and she was the youngest of them, but then something happened and she almost died, and then she has to leave the home when she almost dies, and then I think it's when she's an adult and everyone's kind of regrouping because the man who adopted all the children is dying, and they're all going back kind of to where they grew up, and I think it's about her trying to remember what happened and that night that she almost died. I'm not really sure too much about that, but I like thrillers and I'm looking forward to reading it and reading it with everyone who's joining in on the Deadly Divas book club this month, which I will leave a link to down below for you guys to check out in case you're interested. And finally, to touch on a couple of the audiobooks that I'm hoping to get through in the month of June. I think June is going to be a pretty heavy audiobook month because I have a lot of books on hold. So if a bunch of them come in, I should be getting through a lot. So the first one that I have is If I Live by Terry Blackstock. I think this one might have been on my TBR last month, but it didn't end up coming in, but it is actually in now. I actually have it ready to go. It's going to be the next audiobook that I listen to. This is the third book in a trilogy. The trilogy is basically about a girl whose best friend is murdered and she knows that she's going to be accused of it, and so she goes on the run, and then the family of the best friend who was murdered hires one of his childhood best friends to track her down. But then the guy who's trying to track her down starts to think that maybe she didn't do it, and it's all just kind of about that. This is the third and final book in the trilogy, so I'm looking forward to finding out how everything finishes up. Next on audio, I have Losing Brave by Bailey Madison and Stephanie Miller. This is a young adult mystery that is about a girl whose twin sister went missing. I think it was about a year previously. And I think she's currently having a romance with the sister's boyfriend. So that's kind of an element in there. But she's also, I think it's just all about trying to figure out what happened to her sister. I think maybe there's another girl who turns up who had also been missing around a similar time who looks similar to her sister. So it's all just about basically the mystery of what happened to her twin sister. I love mysteries, so hopefully this is a good one. And finally on audio, I have One Man Guy by Michael Barakiva. This is a young adult LGBT contemporary. It is about a boy whose parents make him go to summer school, and then when he's at summer school he forges a friendship with another boy, and then it seems like maybe that other boy wants something a bit more, and I think it's about him discovering whether he also wants something else, and there might be a bit of a gay romance in there. I'm hoping it's going to be a really lighthearted, fun LGBT contemporary with some gay boys that's going to be really sweet and nice, I hope. So hopefully this is a good one, and yes, that is the final audiobook that I'm definitely sure that I'll be getting to in June. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of others that I've got on hold, but I don't know what's going to come in and what's not, so those are 3 that I'm definitely getting to in June. So those are all of the books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of June. There was quite a few here, particularly library books. I would love for you guys to comment down below if you've read any of the books that I am planning to read, and whether you liked them or didn't like them. I would love to know that, or what you guys are hoping to read in June. I would love to know that as well. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That's all I have for this video today. Bye guys!